All right, y'all, from the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks, from Eve After Dark to concerts in the park. You are live with your boy Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast hip hop. It's Tuesday, y'all, and I'm rocking with Dusty. Come on in, Dusty. Come on in. All right, y'all. This is how we do it. Every Tuesday. Every Tuesday. The Dusty ones in the house, y'all. That's my boy, the Dramatics. One of my favorite songs. Dynamic intro. They don't do them no more, folks. They don't do it like that no more. Here you go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. What'd it be like, Dusty?
Man, feeling good, dude. Nothing like an old school jam, man. That old school music, there's nothing like it, man.
Man, I love that intro. That intro came out in 1976. I was going to broadcast school, and that record came out. And I used to just jam it all the way, jam the 8-track in my Vega all the way to broadcast school. And I'll never forget that song. I can't say it means a lot to me. It just brings back some good memories for me, just as a young man learning to do what I'm doing now. Anyway, let's go and do it. What we got to talk? What we talking about?
That's dope, man. A lot of stuff to talk about. But before we do, me being a broadcast nerd, what was broadcasting school like in 1978? What type of stuff were they teaching you? Did they foresee this podcasting thing?
Hell no. Man, broadcast school back in the day, dude, was just we learned how to. Our biggest thing was learning how to handle the mic, understand the FCC rules. You had to take a class, a course, and get a license to be on the air back in the day, dude. High as I got was a third-class broadcast license, and a third-class license only allowed you to do what I'm doing right now, just talking to the microphone. An engineer had to put the records on and turn the volumes up and down. Okay, you had rules you had to adhere by. All that getting drunk and smoking on the air that was not allowed back then. They taught us how to cut tape, literally how to edit. And back then, editing was not a matter of cutting and pasting because computers weren't even around back then. You had to literally take a piece of a reel-to-reel tape, put it on a chopping block, and cut it with a razor blade and tape it back together again. They showed you how to find the mark, how to mark it with the grease pencil, put that mark on there, cut the piece out you didn't need, put it back together, put the tape on there, and that's where the edits came in at, man, and taught you how to write commercials, how to do commercials. People say, man, you was born for this. No, I was trained for this. You know, that's the difference. I've been training for this since I was a youngster. So when I do a commercial, when I was doing commercials for the different clubs I had, because I was trained to do this, how to do it in 60 seconds. 59 and a half seconds is an ideal commercial. And you learn how to get your point in, get it out, get in, get out, make your point 3 times, get an address, phone number 3 times. Well, in this case, sometimes it's the website address 2 or 3 times. And you do the funny stuff in the first 10 seconds. You get the meat in, get out, and leave people with a commercial they'll remember when they're trying to buy their product or whatever you're trying to push. Different world, dude. Totally different world.
Man, these kids don't know how good they got it with this editing software and all that. When you heard Left on the Cutting Room Floor, literally. When people were making movies, music videos, there was a ton of just right. Stuff that's crazy.
Somebody had to go and clean that shit up, okay? It was literally tape on the floor, garbage cans full of tape. I mean, even when I was at Eve After Dark, we would go to my boy Lee Bailey's studio. He had an 8-track recorder. And it was the same thing, man. There wasn't somebody had to go in. Even the lead tape was just a white tape, and that you use to preserve the actual recording tape, so that you could have enough on the reel, so the reel would stick. Because when the reel start, sometimes if you don't have it wrapped around there 2 or 3 times, it'll come off. So you got to have what they call a lead tape on there to wrap it around there twice. So as soon as it goes white, you can see it from the booth. As soon as it goes white, you know it's about to start. And these are some of the things that cats will never have to worry about again in life. Just things I just happen to know.
That's dope, dude. That's dope. Shout out to J. Roos Theory, Marlon, Derek, Mallory, Rashard Cobb. The gang is in the building. Let's go, Lonzo. Tekashi 6ix9ine is trending again. He first off, he has just released a song within the past couple of days, and it's the #1 streaming YouTube song right now. Literally millions of views within an hour. I always check it out because I like to see the fuckery, not because I like his music, and I think that's why 99% of people tune in. We'll get to that later. But his single Gene, I'm not know if I'm pronouncing it right, is number one. Last week he recorded a video in Brooklyn with a bunch of goons, 15 to 20 Bloods apparently.
No,
certified.
I heard he got Crips now.
Oh wait, I think they're Bloods. I heard the video. I think they're from Brim. I could be wrong. You could be right.
Okay, now but it was one of us is. That's what they aim.
Okay. But so he's rolling with a new gang of thugs.
Okay.
Let's just say that. And who apparently don't care about his past on snitching on his ex crew. He just did a big video with Wack 100, Hassan Campbell, and himself and DJ Akademiks, which is trending right now. Man, what are your thoughts on Tekashi 6ix9ine after all this? And he's still popping. And he's saying he doesn't care that he snitched, and like nobody seems to care.
You know what? And as I look back at all the stuff that we've experienced in the past 6-7 years, everything that had major consequences at one time no longer have consequences, man. No longer. The consequences of snitching is no longer a factor. When you see politicians doing all kind of crazy stuff and nobody gets sanctioned, thrown out of the Congress, White House, whatever the case may be. So it's just, I've seen things going on locally that's not supposed to happen, but what you gonna do? It's like, all right, I did it. What you gonna do? And nobody does anything. Just everybody wants to get along, go along and get along. So I guess, that's what we're experiencing right now. Everybody, the streets is, they don't. Why would they want to mess with Tekashi? Tekashi got money, so Tekashi may want to hire your goons at one point in time. So why would you want to mess with him? He's passing out money. I thought just a minute ago. I was scrolling through my Instagram page. He got a big old gob of money. Always trying to flex his money, man. Real rich people ain't got to flex their money. Bill Gates or Elon Musk couldn't even carry their money. If you can carry your money, you ain't rich, dude. If you can carry your money, you ain't rich. Okay? Not saying that's all his money, but I'm just saying, if you got to steal at this stage in the game, if you still walking around carrying gobs of money or what could be fake money, because I'm betting most of it's probably fake.
Prop money at this stage in the game. I'm betting, it's perpetuatory paper. If you still feel you have to do it at this stage in the game, your creativity is very limited. You've done this so many times; it's no big deal no more. It's not even a factor. So why keep doing it? I mean, that's going to show you have limited creativity. If you would have told me 2 years ago when he got out, or a year and a half ago, whenever, if he'd be doing this, I mean, we talked about Tekashi ever since the whole thing started, and I for sure thought he would have changed his name, got those tattoos removed, moved out of state, and went low key. But he's doing the exact opposite.
He's got something. He got an ace in the hole someplace that we don't know about, man. Because I was just before the show, I like checking out J. Ross Theory. I see you, Doc. Much love to you, baby. Much love. All right. I was just looking at a post on Facebook, how many rappers have been killed over the last few years. Guys who were much more creditable, who done a lot less than him, were dealt with by the streets. And for somebody who has committed the ultimate street crime to still be flossing the way he is, it lets you know that the streets ain't what they used to be in various ways.
Man, that wraps it up in a nutshell, dude. Streets are dead. This is a good question. Let's jump into it.
You're more likely to get shot by dissing somebody's mama or their crew than snitching on the whole crew. Go ahead.
Damn. Or stepping on somebody's bowling ball shoe. Or
somebody's new shoes. You're more likely to get dealt with for doing something like that than you would be for snitching on the whole crew, giving guys basketball scores for time. All right, I'm done. Go ahead. Move on.
You remember Sammy the Bull Gravano? That's kind of a similar situation. Did you ever expect that he'd be walking around freely right now?
No. Again, man, guys like that seem to me they have another layer of protection that we're not privy to. Because Sammy the Bull, he got caught up twice, I believe. He got caught up twice. And
thank you, Inside. Thank you. Good looking out.
I see it, Inside. Much love to you. Thank you very much. We appreciate it, folks. Yeah, when they did when they do it when he did what he did, he got caught, snitched, got out, snitched again, and he went to witness protection program for a while, and couldn't take it, and got discovered again, and then nobody again. The streets ain't like it used to be.
Man. Let's see. Frank Tercio has a good question, and we've talked about this before, but since it's in the chat, let's jump into it. He wants to know: did you get paid at all for your image being used in the Straight Outta Compton movie?
Not a dime. Not a dime. Understand the legalities behind that. When you telling a story that you are part of, and if I'm telling a story right now about me and Dusty and J. Rose Theory and Frank Torcos in the podcast, I can tell that story because it's a true story. Now I can't say that y'all was gay and kissing and all. I can't put you in no negative light, but I can tell the story without your permission because that's my story too. Okay, in order for me to tell this story, I got to tell everything. Now, perfect example, as long as Dre, Q were doing that movie, no problem, okay? Because I'm a part of Dre and Cube's story. They are part of my story. I talk about them all the time, as y'all very well know. But on the same token, shortly after that, they did a Tupac movie. My good friend, Adrian Gregory, was Tupac's manager. He's all in the movie. Because the movie was done by a third party, they had to get permission. He got a check for them using his name and likeness. If Tupac was around and did the movie, would have been different.
And don't get it twisted. Just because he didn't make any money on the movie doesn't mean on the back end that shit didn't start popping.
Well, you know what? And I tell people all the time, man, look, the check is good to get, but the influx of attention and the legacy building. I do more colleges and do more events and more behind that movie. People want to know about that movie, my role, my part in it. Just the fact that I was in the movie for the last 5-6 years, man, just kept my name got my name ringing again. Then Dre stood on top of the Eve After Dark in the Super Bowl, and it's ringing all over again. If somebody don't give you a check, you go find a way to get paid. That's like James Brown said, the old James Brown record. You ain't got to give me nothing. Just open the door. I get it myself. Simple as that. That's been my get down since day one. Okay. That's been my hustle mode. Okay, fine. All you got to do is let people know I exist. Okay. I'm gonna take the rest of it, pick the bull by the horns and make it happen. And that's what I've been doing. That's why I wrote a book. That's why I do my posters. That's why I do my book signings. That's why I do my podcast. That's why anybody call me for a podcast, I will do their show. Why? Not because, why? Because I want that story to be told as much as possible. And the more I tell it, the less somebody can come behind me and say something different. That's not true.
There it is. You know what? We briefly talked about this in the past, but the insight says it started following Lonzo because of the movie and Vlad interviews. Talk to us about your Vlad TV interviews, how that came about. Did he contact you? Where'd you do it? Like, talk to us about that whole process.
Before Straight Outta Compton, I did not know who Vlad was. I didn't watch Vlad's interviews, and they called me up right after the movie. Hey, we want to interview you. All right, Rashad Cobb, I see you, Doc. Much love to you. Hey man, we want to interview you. And I'm like, okay, like everybody else. Okay, cool. When you want to do it? Well, we're gonna come to your house. Come on. So Vlad came to the studio, the same studio I'm doing the show in right now, and he set up shop. And I sat in one of my chairs behind my desk, and he interviewed me for like 2 hours. We just kicked it, and that is how it got started. Those interviews got me interested in podcasting on my own because I realized the question they're going to ask me is the same basic questions over and over again. And I was like working with Dre. I was like working with Cube. I was like working with Easy. Same thing, Jerry Heller, blah, blah, blah. But Lonzo's story is much deeper than that. They don't know the right question to ask. That's why me and Dusty hit it off when he asked me certain questions, and we've been doing it ever since. But Vlad, doing Vlad's interviews, I mean, his podcast changed my life forever, man. Isaiah, I see you, baby. Much love. He said, I go to 7-Eleven. Hey, you the Vlad man. You the Vlad man. Okay. That shit cracks me up.
Love it, dude. Thank you, Isaiah Edwards. Good looking out. He says, good looking out for the donation. He says, what's your favorite music biopic? Temptations for me. He says, let's see, I'll start real quick. Mine, I think I'm going to go 8 Mile. I really like Eminem's 8 Mile movie.
Temptations, because I love the music. If the Temptations are on, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to turn them on. Okay. Jackson's right behind that one. Okay. If I see the Jacksons come on, the Jacksons, because Jackson was a part of my childhood. Behind that, as far as fictitious stories, 5 Heartbeats. Okay. I'm a big 5 Heartbeats fan. I've met most of the Heartbeats I've met. Okay. I had Big Red on my show. I had Choir Boy on my show. I met Robert Townsend in person. Haven't had him on the show yet. And I met the other guy, Harry Lennox. But I haven't met, only one I haven't met was Leon. And I met Eddie Kane. I met Eddie Kane also. I haven't met Harry Lennox. I met 4 to 5 Heartbeats. So yeah, that right there for us, just for conversation's sake. But yes, Temptations is one of my favorite stories because the music is so dope.
Dope, dude. All right, let's move on, man. This weekend was pretty deadly, unfortunately. I don't know what it was what it was about this weekend, but there were up to 10 mass shootings this weekend. Dozens of people shot, a lot killed, various cities all over the country. And what I found interesting, Lonzo, is I'm noticing that the news are starting to call incidents that happen in the hood, they're starting to call it mass shootings now. Back in the day, they weren't classified as mass shootings. I don't ever remember. But what do you think, man? Talk to me.
Well, you know what, man? As people started getting more and more ruthless and shooting up parties and hitting 8-10 people, that's pretty much the proper terminology would be mass shootings. Usually, people would keep mass shootings at schools and events, but when you look up and you got somebody with a 50 round or a couple of guys with a couple of 25 round guns, and they go into a place to shoot a mass of people and don't really care who they hit. They just letting bullets fly. I guess that's the right terminology, man. And it's a sad day when you have to redefine what mass shootings and they're becoming so regular. You just start attaching that label to various situations, and here we are. And most of the time, the stupid part is it's usually people look like you that's doing the mass shooting on us. I tell you what, if it was some non-black people doing the same shit to us, we would have a fit. And I will never understand. Don't get me pissed off. I will never understand how it's so acceptable for 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 fools to shoot up a house party, a dance, a movie, whatever the case may be, with a room full of black people. But if some white people did the same, or non-black did it, it's grounds for Black Lives Matter and everybody else. I will never understand that, man. And nobody can. There's no clinical explanation for that that's gonna make me accept that. Death is death, whether it comes at the hand of black man, white man, police, dog, drowning, whatever the case may be. You are no more dead because you were shot by a cop as you were because you got shot by a little nutsack. Oh, a little nutsack. Oh, he ain't that dead. Bullshit. Okay, you just as dead whether you shot by little nutsack or Officer Stanley. Okay, you're still gonna be a dead body in the morgue. So for us to keep on acting like that's some type of it's more, he's paid to protect us. They're not paid to protect us, they're paid to protect property. Y'all got it twisted. Okay. Who's paying us to shoot us? Why is it so acceptable? Why is it such why is this, this a part of hood life for people to shoot up shit? I'll never understand that, man.
Damn, that's deep, dude. Now you lived through the 80s and 90s when it was just really, really just insane in the streets. And let's set numbers aside. Do you see it as the same as it was in the 80s and 90s? Is it different? If so, what's different than what's going on in 2022?
In the 80s and 90s, man, you were pretty much, if you were in a gang, they pretty much went after gang shit. Okay. They would draw lines sometimes. Okay. I knew my old block where I lived at, the girl's baby got killed, but the guy was bringing in groceries from his mom or something like that, and they went at him. They missed. Okay, that's the part that these guys don't even understand, man. You probably have more innocent bystanders getting killed than the actual people you shooting at. These some bitches don't go to the range. They don't go to the range. They just get a gun, and once they realize it'll shoot, they just close their eyes and pull the trigger. And like I said, man, that was probably one of the most devastating things on my block is when they came through and shot at one of the guys, my next door neighbor, my ex next door neighbor. I'd moved by then, but they killed the little girl, his sister's baby, man. And dude, and he went back and dealt with him, but he ended up getting life in prison. So nobody won. Nobody wins. It ain't no winning. It ain't no winning. Why are you playing a game that you cannot win? There are no winners. And we keep playing the same game. It's part of the street game. What part of the street game do you ever win? Do you ever win any game in the streets? I have never seen anybody win yet.
Damn, dude, that's so true, man. Let's keep it in the same area, maybe even a little bit before, because we talked about this guy on my show. You have a very legendary story that's been told a few times on my show. I'm talking about Puddin'. Someone was doing an interview, and for the life of me, I cannot remember who it was, but he's about your age, and he was coming up, around your time. He's a hip hop pioneer. I watched so many hip hop videos I can't remember, but Puddin's name was brought up, and how he was terrorizing the community. And one thing he said was he thinks that people thought Puddin was legit insane, like crazy legit. Do you remember if that was the case, or if he was just a dude with a gun that was just trying to make a name for himself?
Dude, he and I had a couple of little issues. He was one of the reasons why I left Centennial High School. And like a lot of different guys, they had more heart when they was with their buddies than by themselves. I never forget, we all between Central and San Pedro, there's a drugstore called Clark's Drugs. And we all went to Clark's Drugs. And a lot of times we would run into each other at Clark's Drugs. But back then you got a pass because you was at Clark's Drugs. And it was just me and him. He recognized me and I recognized him. And he just nodded his head. What's up? Okay, what's up? I didn't want nothing, it's just, I don't think he was crazy. I think some guys get around their homies, man, and they just be on one because they know they got their boys. It's like you can handle some stuff because you got little nutsack and ball face and little asshole and shit. They got your back. So me and my cousins would do the same thing. Me and my cousins would get together. I knew if I had my cousins with me, wasn't nobody gonna jump on me. But we didn't go out. We wasn't kind of cats that would go out and start some shit. We just didn't have to run from nobody because it's 4 of us. It's 5 of them, but we got we driving and we got bumper jack handles in the car. Okay, if it go down, and that was the attitude. We didn't ever push. We went out pushing the line. We just didn't have to worry about being run over because we were people were crazy. Because I don't know if he was really crazy. People say he was. He was a known shooter. He was a known shooter, but and a lot of people said he couldn't fight. And I ain't gonna say all that. I'm gonna leave that alone. But he wasn't the best fighter, and a lot of guys weren't the best fighters back then. They had reputations that because they would pull a trigger and they would do things that most cats wouldn't do. Got their reputations a lot bigger than maybe they deserved. And as they get older, their reputations get bigger and bigger. Most people don't realize Puddin got killed. He died from the wounds he received from a woman. He put hands on Jewel, and Jewel put bullets in him.
That's what Singer Jewel
from Death Row. Okay, that was his woman. He was calling himself managing her, and at some point in time, he put hands on her for whatever reason. Don't know the whole story, but I do know that she put bullets in him and put him in a wheelchair. He had a colostomy bag. And later on, if I ain't mistaken, the gang historians can correct me if I'm incorrect. but he later died from the wounds. It was years later, but he died from them from the wounds, and it was known fact that they wanted to get her, but he said nah because he had done he had violated her. That was a serious Pyru issue for a while. They was going to deal with her, and they said no, because that ain't no.
Wow.
Because it may have been warranted.
Damn. Did you we've talked about you all before. She came through the Eve After Dark before. What did she?
Yeah, she was a regular at Eve, but taking my money all the time for talent contests, singing her ass off. I'm trying to reach out for it now, man.
Please do. Yeah, she's very she should have her own podcast or something. I hear her on interviews with her and her sister Lachelle. Did you know Lachelle?
Lachelle's one of my good friends.
Really?
Her and Lachelle, Lachelle was with me at Eve After Dark when it was the last time in the last 5 years, and it was a Miller Exotic Club. She was an MC and co-promoter for Eve After Dark. So Lachelle and I go way back. In fact, all of them had been with me since they were like maybe 15, 14. Lachelle said she was in the club when she was 14. Okay, so that's how far back we go. She talked how the real gravity was. Lonzo, I was back in the Eve before I was supposed to be in there, but you let me in anyway because I came in there with so and so and so and so. And that's the story we've been telling forever. She's doing stand-up comedy now. I just saw her on Facebook or Instagram doing a stand-up comedy set. In fact, I just spoke to her about doing my Eve After Dark podcast because she was a part of that team.
Dope, dude. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And it's crazy how your hands have been in everything.
It's not much that came through Compton talent-wise that I wasn't a part of in some way, form, or fashion. I just spoke to DL Hughley just the other day, last week before last, and asked him, did he remember playing Eve After Dark? He said, hell yeah. I used to walk to Eve After Dark to do shows. So he agreed to be in my Eve After Dark documentary. These are people that folks don't, folks don't understand the depth of what that corner represented to a lot of people. Even as I'm doing this documentary right now, I'm not. It's things that have slipped my mind that people remind me of. Oh, damn, we did do that. That's right. And one of the girls actually brought a jacket from the Eve After Dark. We had the Eve After Dark crew jackets, Wrecking Crew jackets, and it was like, oh my God, I forgot I even made these son of a guns. And I was the first jacket we made for the Eve After Dark. It was the Eve After Dark Wrecking Crew jacket. Everybody bought one. Everybody had one. And my girl Velvet, she was the last one. She still has hers. She can still fit it. And I took that design, and I'm having some Eve After Dark patches made that will be on my website soon. So you can be a part of the Eve After Dark Wrecking Crew as soon as I get these patches done. So yeah, I mean, it's just, man, when you've been doing stuff for as long as I have, it's difficult sometimes to remember everything by yourself, but certain people who are there remember things that you may have just suppressed in your mind that if they give you the clues, oh, damn, you're right. And it goes like that.
Oh, love it. Frank says, Lonzo, you ever thought of doing any tours in Compton for N.W.A. history?
Tours in Compton, everybody in Compton pretty much feel they know all the history of N.W.A. So it would have little to no value because people will actually argue with me about what the hell I did. How in the fuck are you gonna argue with me about what I did? Because somebody told you what I did? How is that relevant? And I'm telling you what I did and did not do.
Or a movie. My favorite is when they're arguing with you in the comments and they say, no, I saw it in the movie.
Yeah, fool, that was a movie. You got to be on some special needs shit. And it just amazes me, man. So I can say, no. I do much better outside of Compton. I mean, everybody in Compton know me already. They either been to the club at one point in time or see me at the mall or the health food store, whatever the case may be. So no, it's my home. Trust me. But I've done things in Compton, and they went very well because I was talking to a different crowd. Okay, there's a group of people older than me, okay, who are from Compton, and they don't know what we did behind them. Isaiah, thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll get to your question after.
So they don't know what we did behind them and how we got there. And because I'm that missing link, these people are like 75, they were class of 65 in Compton, and they love when I start talking because they knew of it, but they were already grown. So it don't have the same impact for them, but it's still, they want to know because, hey, I was part of our history. So it just it different carries different amount of weight.
Isaiah, thank you again. He says, what's the story with Dre's father? He did music too.
Oh, he didn't? Theodore did no music? I ain't never heard him do nothing. Did he?
I don't know. Or maybe he's asking as a question. I don't. Maybe it's a question.
Yeah. No. Dre's dad didn't do no music. Dre's dad had some other issues he was working out, and they weren't very close. Theodore and I grew up on the same street. I knew him. He was part of that crew that was a lot older than me, that hung out with my older sister, and I knew him. We didn't hang out, but I knew his younger brothers and sisters, so I knew him. But again, he was from that generation above me, so we didn't have no interaction. I know his mom. His mom was a little bit younger. She's a few years older than I am, but she and I have talked since then, and just reminisced on a few things that that Theodore and I would never talk about.
He says I read he had an R&B group called the Romels.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know, dude. I had never heard that before. I know Romel is Andre's middle name. Could be something I'm just learning. I've never heard that before. If it was, they was a Carlton Avenue favorites, because I ain't never heard the record they did.
No, let's keep it Compton. Talk to us about Toddy T and Mixmaster Spade and how influential they were in Compton hip hop.
Toddy T and Mixmaster Spade. Mixmaster Spade was probably one of the coolest cats you ever want to meet. He was from across town, but he was one of them guys that, he was like an ambassador. He could pretty much go where he wanted to go most of the time. When he started doing those singing raps over Genius of Love, it just sparked a lot of people to do a lot of things. And even Toddy was, I remember Toddy telling his story, listening to Mixmaster Spade inspired him to do his thing, but he just wanted to do something, about the battle ram. And they was battling in the streets. And Mixmaster Spade was, actually, he was real super cool. He came to do those a couple times. He might have came to Eve After Dark. Todd is a teacher now, if I'm mistaken. I talked to him not long ago. He and I we bump heads sometimes on this history. I said, man, you got to do some more interviews. Oh, they ain't paying. I ain't doing them. Okay, fine, man. Ain't nobody looking for you like that. You got to make yourself, you got to keep yourself relevant to keep the phone ringing. To even get the phone ringing again, the people thinking about you got to keep yourself relevant. And doing people's podcasts and doing interviews, keep people relevant.
There it is, man. Good questions. Keep them coming, guys. I'm copying and pasting everything. I'm trying to get them in order. Let's go next to Tyree. Says, do you remember Rappenstein?
Rappenstein in style. We had a Rappenstein on the Compton compilation, and there was another group called Rappenstein in Style. Which one are you referring to?
Comment down below. Let us know.
Compilation Rappenstein decided to become a gangbanger at 30 years old and ended up getting himself a gang of time. Oh yeah, he waited till he got 37 years old.
Wait. So who is this guy from the Compton compilation? You said
Compton compilation. Good rapper. His song was called "Off the Top of the Brain, Top of the Dome" or something like that. Good rapper. Never did know him to be a gangbanger, but he decided at some point in time he wanted to join somebody's gang and committed a crime that got him a nice bit of time. Yeah.
Damn, dude. Miami 808. Hi, Lonzo. Did you know the Lockers, specifically Fred Berry?
No, I did not know the Lockers, but I did know a couple of guys who danced with the Lockers that went to Centennial, a boy named Steve, forgot his last name. But I did know Freddie. I do know Freddie Maxey. Freddie Maxey was a female locker. She danced on Soul Train as well. In fact, when they weren't recording, taping Soul Train, I was trying to get my lock on at that time. I was trying to get on Soul Train like everybody else. Just ain't nothing nobody else did that I did everything anybody else would have did as a young man growing up in Compton. I tried to be a locker, and I could do it a little bit. I wasn't that good. And I was sitting, what y'all got? What else y'all got? Y'all need music. Hey, I take the music part. And that's how I got out, okay? I tried jumping around on my knees, hurting my knees and shit. All that. That was some athletic shit. And most of the time, you don't see lockers doing this shit in their 50s, okay? Now, pop lockers are different. Pop lockers and the pop lockers more than anybody else. I was at an event a couple of months ago. My boy Cool Boy gave it. Good looking out Cool Boy. And I'm in a room with guys I know 60 years old. I know them. They've been around me since they was kids. They was right behind me in age, and they still get out, okay? And up until the Super Bowl, I planned on doing a special private party at my house for all the lockers, all the pop lockers, because it's amazing to see guys with AARP cards in their pocket, Social Security cards, getting checks, and still could dance like this, okay? It was some phenomenal shit. So on June 18th, if you haven't downloaded the Roku, my channel yet, the Homegrown Media Network on Roku, I'll be at my boy Ruckus's event at the Chuco Center in LA. I'm gonna be live streaming the 50th anniversary party for the Pop Lockers party. They've given out certificates, and I'll be there streaming most of the day, man. So you're gonna see some OGs. In fact, one of the OGs called me today. My boy One Arm Bandit. Much love to One Arm Bandit. He called me today, and he was making sure, asking was I still doing my event. My event technically should have been last week, but I told him to make sure that he comes to the event on the 18th, and they're also doing a Poppers Roundtable this weekend. Might be on Facebook to keep the art form going, because the art form is like everything else. It's gotten hijacked, and not a lot of black folks is doing it. Not a lot of black youngsters.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing that happens with everything we create. Most of the time, the generation behind us don't even pick it up. They might not even be fans. It happened with blues. You don't have a lot of young blues artists. You may have a few from down south, but as much as we did to create the blues, we don't really nobody listen to it. I mean, if you ain't down south or across the other side of the Mason-Dixon line, you don't hit on the radio in LA. There's no blues channels even on the Sirius XM. I got all the channels. I ain't heard of blues. You might hear some blues records from time to time. Same thing with rock and roll. Y'all didn't know that? We invented rock and roll. Ask Little Richard. Oh, he gone. But yeah.
A black female, if I'm not mistaken, invented rock and roll.
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right. Richard, then Little Richard. Man, there's so much history behind that.
The jazz. We invented jazz. That's our shit. Okay. But, when do you hear youngsters talk about jazz? You don't hear about that. You hear guys my age going to jazz concerts, but now everybody wants to turn up and it's getting to the point now, most of the cats on the stage, some of them don't look like you. Now what you gonna do? Anybody took shit, you gave it away. That's what's gonna happen. It's the same thing with the hood, man. It's the same thing with the hood. Oh, they taking our land, they taking our houses. No, you didn't own them in the first place. You was renting, okay? You didn't buy it, you rented it. So therefore, he's here to do what he wants to. And if somebody offers you something 4 or 5 times the value of what you paid for it, your ass got to go. Well, hold on. Hold on. Your ass got to go. Your ass got to go. Your ass got to go. If somebody offer you something that you paid $100,000, I paid $100,000 for my house right now. The house I live in right now, 1985, I paid $125,000 for it. You been to my house, Dusty?
Okay. Nice, very nice, spacious, big house.
That was a lot of money in 1985. Okay, they own my ass right now, Mr. Williams. What you want? What you want for it? Okay, it was last appraised at 800 some thousand. Okay, if you get to $1.2 million, I'll be doing my podcast from someplace else. Okay, if it hit $1.2 million, I'll have to. Okay,
that's hilarious, dude.
At my age, somebody give me $1.2 million, I gotta go. Okay.
Yep. My aunt lives. Yeah.
I could buy me something. I could buy me something else cash. Probably gonna be in the Inland Empire or maybe in Vegas. But I could buy me something cash, and because I don't need as much space as I used to. I got one son. Okay. And how long he gonna be in my house? Oh, who knows? He might be talking about getting married. You never know. So, this is what you're dealing with in the hood. You got people that's been renting. They've been renting this house for 30 years. Yes, key word here is renting. It's not yours. Rent don't get you no ownership. Rent just gets you a receipt. Rent just gets you a receipt. It don't get you ownership. Rent don't get you a receipt. It gets you ownership. Don't get you ownership. It gets you a receipt. So remember that. If you don't own it, you call no shots on it. None. If you don't own it, you call no shots. So you can get mad. Man, they gentrifying Leimert Park. No, that's business, dude. If you didn't buy that building, you rented from somebody else who don't look like you. They planted that flag years ago to get this money. And as people get older, that money start looking good, better and better. And it's like, how much you gonna give me for this? It's paid off, and you finna give me how many millions? Oh, sorry, Mr. Art Show. I'm sorry, Mr. Ice Cream Shop. Sorry, whatever. I gotta go. If you ain't got the money to match the offer, I don't care what you think this may be. It's a cultural area, but if you don't own that culture, you don't own nothing, dude.
Man, and even to take it a little step further, it's kind of hard to do this in LA, but if you live in a place where you can actually own the property, own the land, owning land is so important, not just owning a home, man. We got to own land as well. Like I said, that's hard to do in LA. I'm talking in New York City. That's almost impossible. But if you're living somewhere where you can own land, please do that.
Man, I know some old dudes, Jeffy from the club. He just bought plots of land in Lancaster and in an Empire. And as people started to migrate, they're getting phone calls. Hey, man, I understand you own 5 acres, 20 acres. We're gonna think about building some houses right next to it. Because sometimes one piece may be in the middle of a bunch of other pieces that they're trying to build on, and they need your piece to complete their pieces. It's like a puzzle. Okay, I want to complete this puzzle. I got to buy all this right here. I can't just build around it. I'm gonna look stupid. Okay, and you make me an offer. I paid $15,000 an acre for it. I'll give you 125, 150. Okay, sold.
Man, game tonight, Lonzo. Game. Before we move on, I want to do something really important. We have 40 people in the building on my end, around 40 people. I want everybody right now to go to their living room, go wherever their Alexa is, and ask their Alexa to play the latest episode of N.W.A. Stories with Lonzo. You can now ask your Alexa to play the show. If you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you don't want to watch it on Roku, it's as simple as asking your Alexa to play the latest episode of Dusty. I mean, I'm saying so hard. I say so much of my of N.W.A. Stories with Lonzo. Just want to get that out there.
Thank you, and thank you for turning me on to that little process, man. I didn't know that they existed. I was excited because when I had you on the phone. I think I had you on my phone. Yeah, I had me on my phone, and you was telling me what to say. My computer, my Alexa says, "Hey, hold on!" It popped up right there and there. I'm like, "Damn, I'm the shit." Okay, cool.
Yeah, man. So there you go, dude. If you guys can do that, that would be awesome for it. Thank you so much. The Insight has a great question. He says, "When was the moment you realized hip hop wasn't a fad and was here to stay?" And thank you, Marlon Cozy. Good looking out.
Much love to you, Doc. Man, I think I'm gonna have to say. When we got into it, about 80, 84, when 83, 84, because we had made some underground records, and we made Lovers, and we got a deal from Epic. That kind of solidified it for me because we were the first ones to do an album on the West Coast, and we were the first ones to get an album deal. Okay. a major deal. And but meanwhile, everybody was popping up around us, and it was like, okay, this ain't going nowhere no time soon. And no matter how much it was growing, there still was skeptics that did not want to buy into it because it was all controlled by kids. You think about this, man. Even the highest level of rap
Good looking out, OG Steve. Good looking out, OG Steve. Bronx in the building.
At that time, the oldest executives in the game was guys like me and Russell. Okay, we were the oldest guys in the game. So why would I think? How did Larkin Arnold? How did Gerald Busby? How did all these other people miss it? And there were so many major labels that would not touch rap for years. BET wouldn't even play videos for a while. Okay,
they used to play it when I was coming up. They were playing at like 1, 2 in the morning. Dude, right. Like 2-hour block. You could catch hip hop.
They even our own people didn't believe in it, and it became a situation whereas, oh, y'all don't believe in this, we're gonna make y'all believe. And that's how it kind of jumped off. You don't believe in it? Oh, we don't care if you don't believe. We don't need you, because at that time we had the secondary market. The record industry has always had two markets: had the primary market and the secondary market. And that was for independents. The primary was for the majors, and the independent record labels had the secondary market. You also had two different types of radio stations. You had P1s, P2s. P1s were your heavy hitters like Kiss FM. I think K-Day was a P1. But then you also had your P2s, like 99.1 out in San Bernardino, some other stations. And those P2s was giving us breaks that the P1s wasn't giving us. But after a while, we was making so much noise on the P1s, on the P2s, the P1s had to come online. And when you start making money, everybody wanted to be your friend. And that's just how it jumped off. Everybody started feeling like they was behind, it was getting behind the 8 ball or behind in the game, because the game was changing. And we still had a lot of good artists back in the 80s. And, in the 80s, Mike was still here, Prince was still kicking ass. So nobody was willing to jump on the bandwagon, but started taking it more serious. You started getting some real numbers. And like Clarence Avon says, hey, it's a numbers game. If the numbers make sense, I'm in.
Boom. Tell us about Charles Wright Watts Rhythm Band.
Charles Wright Rhythm Band, 103rd Street Band, right out of Watts, California. Express Yourself, Loveland. They were a local band, man, that just got a couple of good hits, And I never thought he could sing that good, because he sounded like, he reminded me of homeboy from the Intruders. They never did have a great tone, but they could sing, okay? And Charles became a regular at my other club Hall of Fame at Hollywood Park Casino, and he was making a comeback, because after a while, them Express Yourself checks that Dre and them made brought him back.
Oh, so he's the original Express Yourself.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Okay.
Express yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Express yourself to your full capability while I'm living in a correctional facility. Yes, sir. Same thing. So a lot of times those type of records, the success of a new group will give you a whole new life. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I said earlier. When you do movies, podcasts, or somebody stand on your club at Super Bowl, you get a whole new level of love. And oh shit, that's what that's about. And you got to be ready to move. You can't be, he didn't give me a check, so I ain't gonna do nothing. Hell no. If you wait on somebody to give you a check, I'll tell you what you do. Put both hands out. Let somebody shit in one hand and put a check in the other. See which one fill up the fastest. It's probably gonna be the one with that shit.
Facts, man. Hey, OG Steve says Video Music Box. Remember that? Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That was kind of a little bit after your time, right?
Well, it was after my time, but it was a very big factor in music promotion, because what they would do, and one reason why they got shut down is because they were doing payola. It got to the point where record companies would literally Western Union people money in different parts of the country to keep their videos playing on the video jukebox. The video jukebox was the shit. So record companies was seeing, I don't know, 200 here, 300 here, 400 here, whatever, and they would keep their artists on video jukebox. They would monopolize video jukebox. Homeboy made a shitload of money, but at that time they enforced what appeared to be payola. That was a form of payola. It was a new form, but it still was a form. And because he was governed by the FCC, because at that time I think he was on I think he was on. Well, that wasn't on cable, was it? No, it wasn't on cable.
It was on like Channel 28. It was like something that everybody had, I do believe.
Right.
3, I think. In the Compton, like it was like Channel 3 or something.
Right. It was governed by the FCC. It was regular terrestrial radio, and you can't do that.
Yep. Damn, yeah, man. And I remember that when I was coming up in the 90s, they played like the same 5 songs over and over again. So now it all makes sense. So it was like Bone Thugs and Harmony. It was like E40. It was like Pyru Love, Steady Dipping, and like that was literally it.
Yeah. They just flood them with money, and if you didn't have enough money, because it looked real suspicious that a record that wasn't even out yet was just getting too much play from down south. Because usually back then they would work a record in waves. They would start in down south and come back for the independents. Most independent records at that time, we always started in Louisiana or Texas because they had more P1, P2 stations per capita than they did anyplace else. So you can break a record in Texas, but if you break it in Texas, you automatically the airwaves going to leak over to Louisiana, and you pick up some more stations that's going to leak over to Mississippi and possibly Florida. So that's how shit roll. And but wait a minute, how this thing getting airplay in Oregon and Montana? Ain't nobody over there playing this. So it just kind of started making sense after a while and caused an investigation, which got them shut down.
Damn, dude. Keep the questions coming, guys. I see Isaiah says, do you believe payola still exists in the digital era?
Anytime you have independent promoters involved, there's some form of payola. Trust me. Independent promoters are the bag men of it's like, let me shut up. I'm gonna shut up. That's federal shit. That's real shit. That's federal shit. That is some serious shit. When we did our song, we had our album at Epic, and we was given, I think it was like $15,000 to $20,000 to promote, hire some independent promoters. Right now, understand how the game goes. They could not give the independent promoter the money directly from the label because they're not supposed to be the two. They're not supposed to be connected. They had to give the money to a third party to give to the second party to give to the third party. So they gave the money to me because I was the production company owner, Crew Cut Records. I get the check. The day I got the check, they launched a federal investigation and had a Senate hearing on payola in the music industry. The main guy who I was scheduled to meet with was on the stand being drilled by the Senate. Okay, his name is Joe Iskro. Okay, very well connected guy in radio. And when that went down, everybody stuck their hands in their pockets and started whistling. Nobody don't know shit. Okay. And I called my people as Epic. I said, hey, I got this money. What do I do with it? You see what happened? They said, have a party. Have a party. Because then ain't nobody going to touch it now. Okay. Everybody just stuck their hands in their pocket, just like in one of them cartoons, started rocking back and forth and whistling. Don't know what you're talking about. Don't have no idea. I ain't in this shit. Okay. We gave the money to Lonzo. Okay.
Damn, that's crazy. All right, see, Art Chavez says, Lonzo, who are some of the local OG DJs that still tour? Egypt, Arabian Prince are the ones I can think of.
Egypt, Arabian Prince, probably the most. Joe Cooley, I saw today on Facebook. We Facebook friends. He's trying to get back out there, start doing some stuff. I see DJ Aladdin is trying to do some things again. LA DJs, think about it now. Aladdin won the DJ contest a couple times. Joe Cooley did very well. I don't know if he won or not. I think he might have won. But some of the best guys at some point in time got in the clubs. Okay, they don't do a lot of touring. Like my boy DJ Rectangle, he's playing. He's big time in Vegas. So they once you get into a club, you get into a good club, fuck a tour. If you get into a good club, fuck a tour. Okay, you make more money and you ain't got to go nowhere. Okay, your bags never get packed. Plus, you get and with the digital age, guys are doing remixes at the pad and playing them at the club and people are downloading them in the club while they sit there partying. So it just makes a big difference. I mean, then some of the biggest DJs became producers, like Dre. Okay, what tour Dre going on? Okay, what tour is Dre going? Dre ain't going nowhere. There has been, we don't have a Battle Cat is starting to get that status. And also tomorrow's birthday. Much love, Battle Cat. 420 is his official birthday, and he's doing an event tomorrow, and I'm gonna see him on Sunday. Battle Cat Day here in LA, y'all. It's going down Sunday in the Murray Park. Battle Cat Day. Ain't that something? I ain't mad at you, boy. But yeah, he's starting to get that kind of recognition where he's doing television shows, he's doing concerts, he's been Snoop's DJ forever. So and he makes great beats. So he is getting to that status where he'll probably be doing tours on his own eventually. But Egypt has been doing it forever. And Arabian Prince, again, he's been doing it forever. He's also the DJ for JJ Fad, but he also goes out and does his own thing solo. So not a whole lot of cats have that kind of clout right now. And most cats don't have the musical repertoire to warrant that kind of reaction. Most people are like, oh, okay, cool. He made a couple of records, but he ain't. Arabian Prince, N.W.A. got his own stuff. Egypt got a load of hits, and so it's like when you hire this guy, you're not only getting a DJ set, you're getting a performance. You're getting somebody to do his thing. Whereas a record crew, you got to bring 3 of us out. Okay, so it's a little bit different.
That's dope, dude. Well, if you guys don't already know, Lonzo has a show every Thursday with Dr. Dre. Not the Dr. Dre you guys are obviously thinking, but the other hip-hop historian, pioneer on the East Coast, Dr. Dre. What did you guys talk about last week, man? What do you guys got coming up this week?
Man, sometimes me and Dre get heavy. We were talking about politics last week. We were talking about politics, the importance of voting, and things of that nature, trying to school these folks. Our show is called Legendary Connects. It's the same time I scrapped my Thursday show to do this show with Dre. So I don't do as many guest appearances. And, I like doing guest shows, but it's real hard to do guest shows, especially when you're doing them live. As y'all know, sometimes guests show up at the last minute or they don't show up at all. I'm sitting talking, looking stupid and shit. So I hate looking stupid. So I just backed away from them until I started getting some consistent guests. Me and Drake will probably bring some people in. I'm gonna bring some folks here with me and Dusty. So if they do show up late, me and Dusty can talk until they show up. Shit. So it is what it is. But me and Dre, Legendary Connect, 6:00 Pacific time. It goes down with Lonzo and Dr. Dre, folks.
That's dope, man. That's dope. So what's the reaction that you guys are getting?
It's growing, dude. A lot of the folks that's in the chat room right now, they rock with us on Thursday. So I'm kind of utilizing this channel, this platform to feed the other platform. And some point in time, we'll probably break this off and let it do its own thing. But right now, I bring the same folks in. Everybody that's notified on N.W.A. Stories with Lonzo, they'll also be invited to the show on Thursday.
Yep. And once again, if you have an Alexa in your room, ask Alexa to play the latest episode of N.W.A. Stories with Lonzo. And you can also listen while you're cooking or, doing kitchen work or hanging around the house. You don't have to watch it on your phone. And we definitely appreciate it. Roku also, tell them about Roku.
Yes, sir. Roku channel. If you have Roku at your channel, not the Roku TV, but the Roku stick. We still have some issues with the stick, with the TV, but the Roku stick, download the Homegrown Media Network. Like this, and also, folks, if you haven't already, like and push the notification button and share these videos. I'd appreciate it. We definitely, we're still growing. I still think we're being suppressed a little bit, but I ain't mad about that. We're still growing, but we ain't growing as fast as I like for us to grow.
Man, I'm telling you, dude. We was on a roller coaster there, then COVID hit, and
COVID hit, man.
My channel too. Same thing happened to me. I don't know.
we was picking up 1,000 people a month, damn near one time. 500,000 people a month, easy. All of a sudden the brakes just skirt, and it's still growing. I thought we'd be at 20,000 by now, but it's still growing.
Hey man, I'm happy with what we got, and it's all organic, and that's the main thing. And shit, we'll keep it going until we get up to 1 million, man. Lonzo, it's always a pleasure, man. Any last words?
Man, we out of here till Thursday, folks. That's all I can tell you. You're live with Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast hip hop, my man Dusty Vision. We do it like this, y'all, every week, every Tuesday, and we thank everybody for donating to the cause. Everybody for stopping through the chat room, showing all the love. Don't forget, y'all, me and Dr. Dre, we right back here Thursday at 6 o'clock, same time, same channel, but a different co-host. My man, Dr. Dre from Yo